I think one of the biggest compliments that can be given to a game is that it's fun, and one of the most surefire signs of fun is laughter. If a game can make you laugh, then it's probably a pretty fun game to play. The thing is though, a game can make you laugh for a wide variety of reasons. Let me go over a few of the main ones. The first one comes from games that are intentionally trying to be funny, be through the humor written into the game or what have you. A game like Conker's Bad Fur Day comes to mind when thinking about that type, if that's your sort of humor. I mean, the game has a giant opera singing turd.
My butt! That's right, my butt! My butt! My butt!
Games like that stick out, because I feel like very few games make humor the top priority. I'd actually say this is probably the least common of all the types of games that make us laugh. Sure, games can be appreciated for their humor and clever writing, but that usually doesn't provide the kind of gut-busting laughs that I'm thinking about. Those types of laughs generally come from games where multiplayer is involved, or at least where another person is in the room with you. You normally don't find gamers laughing hysterically while playing a game alone. You might look like a crazy person. I mean, if you're able to, then more power to you, and you might as well if it's enjoyable. I just don't think it's very common. Anyways, the most common types of laughs come from gaming's tendency to put you in situations where you're able to do all sorts of ridiculous things. Let's take Super Monkey Ball for example, and specifically one of my favorite modes, which is this monkey fight game. In this minigame, you are literally a monkey rolling around inside of a ball with a giant boxing glove attached to a spring. The goal? Knock all your opponents off the stage until you're the last monkey left, all the while hearing ridiculous monkey sounds. Naturally, this lends itself to some pretty manic gameplay and a lot of really hilarious things happening, due in large part to the unpredictability of who is going to get blown off the map at any given time. Alright, let's hop on over to a game for the Sega Saturn that's another great example. Die Hard Arcade. This game is great fun with a friend. It's a beat 'em up, which is always fun with two players, but what really puts it over the top is just how goofy all the physics and weapons are. I mean, just look at this. In particular, one of my favorite things is the ridiculous throw maneuvers you can do in this game. I think the awkward way you swing a lot of the weapons around is pretty great too. So it's like I said before, the game gives you a tool set for a lot of funny things to happen. The game doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's pretty common among games that make you laugh. I mean, it's a video game, why should it? There's certainly a place for games that take themselves more seriously, that are trying to do something important with the plot or story, but in a game where the story is kind of just there to guide things along, it doesn't matter. A good example of this would be Super Smash Bros. The point of the game is just to have a way for everybody's favorite characters to fight against each other, so the story might as well just be pulled out of a hat. Definitely a game that will make you laugh, especially back in the day. The novelty of having all these Nintendo characters fight against each other may have worn off a bit nowadays, since the game series has been around so long, but back when this was first announced, it kind of took everybody by surprise, with this now pretty famous commercial selling the promise of the game well. The last game I'd like to share is something a little more modern, and that would be Overcooked. The premise is simple. You're just trying to work with your buddy to prepare meals. You're in a race against the clock though, and so naturally things become hectic and lots of funny things will happen, like screaming at your partner that you need more clean plates, or just throwing stuff on the ground because you're out of counter space. And if you're really lucky, just lighting the entire kitchen on fire. Let me tell you, some serious good times with this one. And if you're wondering, no, I haven't forgotten about the third type of game that makes us laugh, which would be games that are just so bad, you laugh at them. Those types of games have been covered to death on YouTube, and I haven't really bothered to actually own any of those. So I'm not really going to talk about them on my channel, but they do exist and are a viable option if that's what you're into. Whatever it is that makes you laugh, I think this video is a great opportunity for everybody to share some of their favorite experiences of laughing while playing games. I would imagine that answers will vary quite a bit and would love to read them. So leave those comments down below, and as always, I will see ya in the next video.